Look at that. Babe, let's make some cupcakes because everybody asked me. I've been baking for 14 years now, professionally, on and off, and I must have made tens of thousands of cupcakes. It's like nothing crazy, nothing special. You can find this like on most websites. It's a standard recipe, but I'm going to show you the methodology because I think that's what people want to see to get like the flat cupcakes, the perfectly sized, the even bake, all of that nice and fluffy. To start off strong, I'm putting the oven on. My oven is a fan oven. I'm putting it at about 177 Celsius. I just say 180. If your oven is fine, that is great. Like at my bakery, 180, perfect. Here though, it runs a little bit hotter, like it catches a bit quicker. So I do 177. Everything you need to make my perfect cupcakes every single time. Got two different recipes here. We've got just a classic vanilla cupcake, and also I'm going to show you how to do chocolate cupcakes. So I have got eggs, I've got caster sugar, I've got self-raising flour, and I've got stork, which is margarine, but any margarine is fine. We just don't want to use block butter, like 100% butter. This butter is also vegan and vegetarian, so if you wanted to do dairy-free cupcakes, this is absolutely fine. This recipe will just do dairy-free because this is not real butter. As long as they can still have eggs. The only thing you'd have to change is the buttercream when you come to do it, because I use real butter in my buttercream, so that's not dairy-free. Also, this is dairy-free, so if you want to make dairy-free chocolate cupcakes, same recipe. I've been using this vanilla from the guys at Vanilla Mart. They sent it me a while ago. They sent me a few different vanilla products. Absolutely love it. Delicious. So nice. I also have my mixer, but you can do this with an electric hand mixer, or you could do it by hand. You've just got to be real. Obviously, my favorite, everybody to go to, the Sainsbury's cupcake cases. These are the best cupcake cases in the world. If Sainsbury's discontinues this, we will have strong words, because I'm a Sainsbury's stan. Everything here I have bought from Sainsbury's. I also have my ice cream scoop. Everyone always asks me why I use an ice cream scoop. It's because you can perfectly get your batter into your cases without it spilling. Also, you can get the same amount without weighing it out if you want to be more professional. I do it by eye. I just know to fill it 3/4 of the way every scoop, and it's a perfect amount. I have got my trusty spatula for getting the edges, and of course a cupcake. Tip with a cupcake tray, you can get all different sizes, depth and thicknesses. Like you can get some that are quite shallow. The thicker the better. Like the more sturdier this is, it'll last you forever. I think I've had these ones for about 10 years. I've got loads of them. Again, I reckon I bought these just in Sainsbury's, but they're really sturdy, never had an issue, perfect bake every single time. I'm gonna start off with butter and sugar first. You can do an all-in-one method. I used to do that all the time. I dumped everything in one go, but let's be more professional today and do butter and sugar together. You want your butter room temperature. You can warm it up in a microwave to soften it. However, room temperature is a bit better because the molecules aren't as runny. They're not as like hot in some spots, cool in the other. So room temperature butter, but don't worry if you need to cheat. So we're gonna do 200 grams of everything. So that's 200 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of butter, and then when we get to it, 200 grams of self-raising flour when doing vanilla cupcakes, and 4 eggs. It's literally butter and sugar in there, and we're just gonna put it on a mix. When it starts to combine, this is where I use my scraper. Even if you're using a hand mixer, I need to go through it in a bowl. Just check that you get all the sides and there's no lumps of sugar that's not getting mixed up. Give it like a little helping hand. And give it one more mix up so it's all combined. Now we're doing 200 grams of self-raising flour and 4 medium eggs at room temperature. I crack straight into the bowl. You could be more professional and crack it into a bowl first and then tip it in to make sure there's no shell or no eggs have gone off. But I've been doing this a long time. I very, very rarely ever get a shell in there. So we've got in there. I'm going to give that a mix up. Once it's combined, I am going to scrape it again to make sure there's no lumps of flour missing. But the top tip when it comes to cupcakes is do not over mix. Your mixture is done when it's lighter in colour and it looks a bit fluffier. But we don't want to keep, some people when they're starting out baking will mix and mix and mix, thinking like the more it's mixed, the lighter it's going to be, the fluffier it's going to be, getting air into it, but it doesn't. It stretches the gluten, so when it bakes, it actually makes it tighter and it's like more dense, it goes in on itself. So we want to keep it a bit more light. We can see here it is combined. I'm just going to get all the bits at the bottom. We can see it's combined, but it's still a little bit darker, and you can see it's a bit like lumpy, not as soft. So I'm gonna put that on for maybe just another 1 minute. I also don't mix it too much. This is on a 2 on here out of 10. Put it on a 3. As we can see, it's a lot fluffier and lighter in colour. It's, ooh. We want, you see that? Boop. If you want to make chocolate cupcakes, when you're adding the flour, rather than 200 grams, we want to swap out 10%. So I would add 180 grams of flour with 20 grams of cocoa powder. And if you're making more cupcakes, say 400 grams, instead of 400 grams, you do 360 and 40. I use that method all the time. It's not the most chocolatey of like a chocolatey fudge cake. It is just a light classic chocolate cupcake that's really good for like children's parties, or if you're then going to add like say a filling into your cupcake or a heavy buttercream top. I find it the perfect kind of chocolate amount. At this point I'm going to add a dash of my vanilla. This is the vanilla I like to use. It's the Madagascan pure vanilla extract. This is from Vanilla Mart. They also have a paste which is super lovely, but for just cupcakes today this is a bit too intense, so I'm going to use this one. Oh my god, it is so strong, but it's so delicious. So I'm just adding a dash. You could probably just use a teaspoon. I like to do it by eye. And then back in the mixer. Just as simple as that, not over mixing it, we're not spending too much time. Right, let's put the actual batter into the cupcakes. Like I said, best cupcake cases in the world. Sainsbury's, if you want to sponsor me, that'd be a dream come true, because you are my supermarket of choice. You're around the corner from me. I have shopped there since you built that building. I like to fill my classic cupcake, my classic ice cream scoop, about 3/4 full. And I dump it straight in, and it is perfect every time. 3/4 full. And by the way, I have everything that is able to be bought on Amazon is in my Amazon storefront. Here are my 12 cupcakes ready to go in the oven. Now, I do have a little bit of batter left over. With this batter, what I can do is I will probably try and fill as many more cakes as I can. I'll probably only get one spare out of that. And it's always good to just have a spare, pop it in the freezer. Cupcakes freeze really nicely. I never often throw batter away unless it's like a tiny little drag. Here we go, in the oven for 20 minutes. Again, every oven is slightly different. It might need a couple more minutes, but the best tip when it comes to baking sponge cake is you do not open this oven until it's had at least 3/4 of the way through. This is in for 20 minutes. If I got to 10 minutes and open that oven, the cold air will shoot in, get pulled in, or the hot air will go out, one of those, and it destroys the sponge baking, and that's when your sponges could collapse. They could do like where it looks like a little mountain exploding. So I make sure it's had the full 20 minutes. At the 20 minutes, I'll just use a skewer test to make sure it's baked all the way through. It's very rare that I've ever underbaked a cupcake, like unless something's happened to my ovens, compared to a bigger cake where it takes longer and more, it's harder for it to go even all over. Cupcakes, because they're small, they're quite easy and you can't really mess them up. Cupcakes are looking good. They are perfectly done. They are slightly domed, but I think that is from the butter being a little bit cold. But look how perfect and cute the little cupcake is. No greasy cases. I always let my cupcakes cool down completely in the tin. Make sure you don't obviously put it on a hot surface. I've let the cupcakes cool down. Look at that. I mean, I can get flatter. I do think my butter was slightly cold, but I think that's pretty good. It's a lovely colour. Let's have a look. Ooh, she nice, she fluffy. That's what you want to see inside a cupcake. We don't want dent. Perfection. How to freeze cupcakes. I freeze cupcakes all the time. I am missing one. I just ate it as a taste test. If you're trying to be organised and need to make a load in advance, the best way to freeze cupcakes is to leave them in the tin, and then I use cling film, and I have done this for years. Like, being a professional baker for 14 years, busy seasonal times, or if I was going away and I needed to catch up on baking, so I baked ahead of time. Bake them, leave them in the tray. They need to be 100% cool. You should never cling film warm cake. It causes bacteria to grow. I know people do this all the time with their sponges, but you really should never do it. You should let them get completely cooled, and then keeping it in the tray. One, you can stack them like this. If you have a lot of cupcake trays, you can put one in your freezer, one on top of the other. This size is also perfect for fitting in a freezer shelf, either in the drawer, or you can take the drawer out and stack it. But doing it this way keeps them flat and stops the cases knocking. And there you have it. That's how I freeze my cupcakes. And cupcakes, once you need to use them, they defrost in like 10 minutes. They're so quick. Like, I literally pull the tray out, and within 10 minutes I can decorate them. Nice and super easy peasy.